organ harvesting isn't a glamorous job. It pays well, but you can't afford to be slow or sloppy. If you are, the best case scenario is that you miss a paycheck. The worst, you get caught. And if you get caught, no one is coming to help you. I've been doing it for a few years now, so I've got my strategy down. I'm fairly frail looking, so all I have to do is fake a limp and people don't think twice about helping me. It's laughably easy to lure bleeding hearts to a secluded area so I can slit their throats and open them up. The target I had staked out that day was a mousy stick of a man. He obviously spent more time at the computer than at the gym. He didn't seem like the type to carry, but I was always careful to look a person over for signs of a concealed carry. He stuttered when I approached him, practically shaking like a newborn deer, but he was happy to help. He didn't even bother to try to keep me in his glasses-bound sights. It made it all the easier to strike him down. I want to say that I knew something was wrong, that even the tiniest bit of dread creeped down my spine, but I had no idea how bad of an idea it was to choose this guy. I did my usual harvesting routine, packing the now free organs in a stashed cooler. I space out my harvests and cycle locations to err on the side of caution, so I was miles away from where I killed him when I saw him again. I have a pretty good poker face, but it was almost shattered when I spotted him, no worse for wear, humming to himself while taking a walk. It was impossible. He couldn't have survived, much less be in the condition to walk around. It had to be some weird look-alike. Still, I hated loose ends. He acted just like last time, though he seemed to pick up on my distress. Are you okay? I'm okay, just a bit stressed. Hey, random question, but do you have a twin? He blinked owlishly at that. No, I'm an only child. Even with how suspicious I must have been acting, killing him was just as easy as last time. Panting, I watched him spasm and choke as he hemorrhaged from the cut on his throat before he stilled. Maybe it was just my nerves, but the following silence felt deafening. Instinct told me to run, but I needed to at least harvest one organ today. I nudged him with my foot, half expecting him to jolt up and bite at my throat like a zombie from a horror movie. Nothing. Still, my heart would not slow. I took more from him than I did last time, but my cuts were much shakier. I rested an extra few days after that, and I was still shaken when I went out again. Of course, he was there, again. Instinct screamed at me to leave, to abandon what felt like a sinking ship, but I feared what would happen if I didn't kill him more than if I did. My composure was better, but I still felt I was drawing more attention than was healthy for my career. Again, there wasn't a slightest bit of difference in how he acted. I killed him again. One slice and he was down. The world spun. How many times would I have to keep doing this? In a daze, I turned around and began to walk away. I think you're missing a couple of steps. That voice, smooth and barely recognizable, froze me solid. I couldn't breathe as I looked back. He stared back at me, a completely neutral expression on his face, unbothered by the gouge in his throat. But that neutrality quickly faded into thinly veiled irk. I let you rip out my guts 2 times, the least you can give me is a decent reaction. In an adjacent situation, that would have been moment guys with cameras would burst out of the woodwork and yell, "You just got pranked, bro!" But no one jumped out of the shadows. It was just me, and what should have been a corpse. I finally managed to choke out a pathetic, "How?" He snorted. "You haven't been remotely entertaining enough for me to entertain answering that." I took a step back. "What?" "Looks like you haven't been harvesting enough brains." He shifted, so he was laying on his side, throat still open and oozing. "Why else wouldn't I have struck you down the second I found you slicing a woman's throat? Your entertainment. Though lousy in that front." Ice-cold terror and red-hot fiery rage battled in my bloodstream. The urge to run away, fighting the urge to stomp his brains in. You are lucky, really, to have run into me and not someone else. My moral backbone is quite bendable. especially when I'm bored. But, he tapped his fingers on the bloody concrete, you really weren't worth keeping alive. I'll kill you, I said reflexively, trying to repress my shaking. He raised an eyebrow. And how do you plan on doing that? My mouth opened, but I couldn't squeeze anything out. That's what I thought. He rose to his feet like he was wire flying in a play, completely unnatural. Now, I believe it's time to discuss repayment. What? If this had been some sort of game or film, his eyes would have glowed, but instead those dark orbs seemed to swallow light like a black hole. For every organ you stole, of course, every inch of skin flayed, every drop of blood spilled. I can give you money, I sputtered. A lot of money, all the money. He blinked, slow and sure, like a lazy predator who knew his prey could not escape. Does it look like I have any interest in money? That's when I finally succumbed to the instinct to run. I darted out of the alleyway. At least that's what should have happened, but as if I made a full circle, when I rounded the corner I was back in the alley with him, staring blankly at me. He clicked his tongue. It's far too late to back out now, especially since you've accumulated so much debt. I had to get out of here, out of this thing's clutches. I looked down at my knife. Like I said, he was suddenly way too close, a hand trapping the wrist of my knife hand. It's far too late to back out. My fist shattered on impact with his impossibly hard chin. He didn't even flinch as I screamed in agony. Oh my, throwing a tantrum? The only person to blame is yourself. I continued to struggle against his grip, but I could not even make him so much as wiggle. How sad and how annoying. I suddenly couldn't move, like the air around me had become stone. His eyes, in which nothing escaped, bore into mine. Let's tally up your debt, shall we? 2 hearts, 2 livers, 4 lungs, 4 kidneys, 1 stomach, 36 broken ribs, 191 square inches of flayed skin and muscle, and 13 litres of spilt blood. He tisked. That's quite a lot, and that is not including severed nerves. I choked, trying to say something, anything. Even if we broke it down to a matter of simply cells, you don't have enough in your body currently to repay me, so... He drew out that syllable. If I were to harvest a pint of blood every 12 weeks, you would have 7 years before your final payment is required. Now... His bored expression broke into a sinister grin. Let's make the first payment, shall we? His free hand crept up to the forearm he held captive. I renewed my efforts to escape as he dragged a nail across my skin, though I still couldn't move no matter how hard I tried. His finger stilled on a vein, and I felt a sharp sting, like a needle had grown out of his fingertip. After what felt like forever, he removed his finger, revealing an oozing wound. There! That wasn't so bad, was it? His grip, both physical and supernatural, released me. I scrambled back, but what distance I gained didn't feel remotely enough. Welp! He made a show of dusting off his bloody clothes. I'll be seeing you. Oh, and try to cut your life short, and you'll regret it. With that, he turned and walked out of the alley, whistling an unfamiliar tune like he didn't have a care in the world. Thank you guys, ghouls and girls for watching. Please feel free to connect with me on my Discord server, and if you want to watch me live, check out my Twitch channel. I am very active on both platforms and even have scheduled streams. I would absolutely love to see you there. Links to my other social media platforms are in the description below.
Stay spooky.